Alright mates, here we go. Here's a part 2 film on June 9th, 2024. You should watch the first video that I made, as that provided a bit of a contextual background on where I am. But I will say it again, this is at the Lewis and Clark State Recreation Area in Nebraska. Now my last film, I went over a bit of the Great Plains yucca, but there's another plant that I still want to point out that I hadn't had the chance to do yet. See these guys? I'm sure for many of you who reside, especially in the Midwest, can relate to this plant. Here is the purple Crown Vetch. And as you can tell, given that this is a little bit of a disturbed area, that the purple Crown Vetch is indeed an invasive plant. It was introduced back in the 1800s as, of course, another ornamental plant. And apparently it was also used for erosion control. Now granted, it can do that a little bit, but it's still invasive, which poses a problem for native vegetation. But they are originally from parts of Asia as well as Africa, and it is related to the legume family based on their leaf arrangements here. What I mean by that is you can see that it is a compound leaf. And each individual leaf, or leaflet, I should say, is directly opposite of each other. And I'm throwing all of this plant terminology to you guys. Now, just want you guys to know that this is an invasive plant that you want to avoid consuming directly, because it is noted that they do contain some trace amounts of cyanide as well as glycosides, which are toxic compounds that our body cannot process. And so that does not just apply to us, but it can also apply to your pets as well, or even livestock. So in other words, it's a plant to avoid consuming. Whereas, ironically, next to it, as I mentioned in my last video, the Great Plains yucca is a native, and it is edible. So how about that? Now, the reason, transitioning to a little bit of history here, part of the reason why this is called the Lewis and Clark State Recreation Area has to do with the fact that back in the early 1800s, the famous explorers Lewis and Clark traveled through here on their journey west. And not too far away, they met up with the Yankton Sioux tribe for just to build relations, as it were. And it wasn't too far from here where Mr. Lewis had a speech on speaking about what they were up to in terms of exploring the lands. And so that's how the park really got its name. And not too far away, I believe towards that direction, can't directly see it, but over there lies the town of Yankton, South Dakota. It's just so cool because, like, you come through here and you would not think that this is in Nebraska, but it is. It's pretty darn cool. So, alright you guys, take care. See ya.